Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe for me as we explore the Weber 26 running hot and running cold. That's right. We are going to be doing some hot cooks and some cold smoking here on this episode. And yes, as you can tell, we are going to be doing some chicken thighs. You guys know I have a thing for the chicken thighs. You know, it's kind of like ribs and thighs. I don't know which one I like better, but today it's thighs. And we got a few more good things in store for you too. Some burgers and some jerky. Okay, so we're gonna do some chicken thighs, the dual fire against the Weber 26. Now the way I do the thighs is I do the dry brine, smoke, roast, and sear. And then follow that up with a glaze in this case. In other words, I'm gonna do a portion of the thighs with a little bit of glaze. But first for the brine, got this nice ratio that just seems to work. 2 tablespoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 4 teaspoons of my seasoning. Okay, so I take all of that right there and I dump that into my bowl, and I basically just mix it up really good and put the chicken thighs in there and get it evenly coated all over, right? But of course, first you got to do a little bit of the basics. Once you open this thing up, you got to pat them all dry. Get as much of that moisture off of them as you can, both top and bottom. And yeah, there is some moisture that still remains on there, and that's just enough to give yourself a nice light dusting through and through. So again, throwing those into the little bit of a shaker bowl, and as you can see there, a nice even dusting all the way through. So go on with the second set of thighs, and before you know it, I got 8 thighs that are just looking good. So I'm going to put those in the refrigerator. In this case, I'm saving these for overnight, getting them ready for the cook the next day. So starting off with the 26, I'm setting this up for the 2-zone cooking that you sometimes hear about. I've got one half that's going to have the coals, and it's going to be hot and ready for searing. The other half is going to be good for roasting. And so I'm putting down some aluminum foil on my drip pan just to make sure that I've got a little bit of an easy cleanup with this, and basically lighting that charcoal up and getting that all set. Okay, and in this instance, we're going to get this thing pretty hot. So I'm putting into place and spraying some PAM down on the searing grate. Even though for the most part I'm going to be roasting. Okay, now as far as the dual fire goes, spraying a little bit of PAM on there too, and getting the chicken out. And yes, you saw it, I'm throwing in some chicken wings as well. They had them on special over at Randall's, the grocery store I go to, and I just couldn't help myself. I figured the wings will come out first. That'll be a little bit of a chicken appetizer, whet my appetite. And then, of course, I'll have the thighs coming out later, tied into the main course. So that's my plan anyway. Throwing some cherry wood over there on top of the coals just to get a little bit of smoke going there, and pushing the go button on the dual fire. And you know what? We were off to the races. Now, about an hour into this, I'd gotten a decent amount of smoke on there. So now it's time just to roll this up to 4 1/4, 425, just to get things to start roasting and crisp up that skin and so forth. Now, it did similar on the Weber, had that going low for a good while. Basically had it camped out around 225, and then I bumped it up to 425. But in the middle of all this, yeah, I had a little bit of a rookie mistake there. I forgot to put a drip pan down for this, and when heating it up high like that, any kind of grease can sometimes catch on fire when it hits down onto the aluminum lined built-in drip pan. So with drip pan in place, we were good. Okay, back to the 26. In this instance, everything was smoking up really nice. I was just sitting here flipping these and getting the other side done a little bit, and wondering if I didn't just make a massive flub up on the dual fire with respect to forgetting that drip pan. And you know what? Not totally bad, but I thought, I'm going to try the chicken wings off of this one and just see if I didn't, put any foul taste or anything else, onto everything. But, they were looking pretty good, but, the question is, how were they tasting?
All right, here we go. A little on the toasty side it looks, but still not bad. actually pretty decent.
Yeah, so a little singed, but at least that gave me hope that the thighs were coming out okay. Anyhow, not before too long they were at temperature, so it was time to go ahead and glaze them. And what I did was I went ahead and put some of that black cherry chipotle on there, and then I used some Goldie's sauce as well. So the Kinder's black cherry chipotle and Goldie's are the theme going on with this one. And just basically, picked a couple of them at random, and then put those on. Now I didn't do all of them because I wanted to save some for searing, at least on the 26. I just wanted to kind of crisp them up and get some grill marks on there. And so, before too long, I was ready to actually do that. And that seemed to work out pretty well, actually. I mean, you just got to stay on top of it because, obviously you're playing with fire and you don't want to mess things up, too bad. And went ahead and got the wings over there and toasted them up a little bit too. And I couldn't help but, think about the kids doing their s'mores. And here I was with my, grown-up s'mores. Well, in this case, chicken wings. But by and large, pretty straightforward cook. And yeah, the wings were coming out looking pretty good on that one too. So now it came down to the thighs. Just had to get those things pulled off and had to give them a little bit of a taste test. And so far, everything was looking pretty decent. Yes, I did get a little bit dark, a little bit, singed on the dual fire one. And just between you and me, guys, they all came out good, but obviously my rookie mistake, the winner on this one was clearly the Weber for sure. They just came out looking really good. The Weber ones were nice. The flavor was there. They were juicy. It just worked out well. And actually, the star of the show for me on this was the Goldie's sauce. Now, I know they sell it with the ribs in mind, but good golly, Miss Molly, they were awesome on those chicken thighs. Okay, so now it's time to get a little bit hot again. And this time we're going to go with some burgers. And yeah, I'm throwing down some Goldie seasoning. It's not just for brisket. At least I don't think so. And this time I'm just going to make some, big burgers on this one. I'm overstuffing my burger press on purpose because I'm just in the mood for a big, thick backyard burger. So getting those in place and then basically, pounding them into the form and, dusting them up on the bottom there. And then I'm going to dust them a little bit more on the top. And yes, I am going to do the old big thumb dimple in there just to, help keep them, sized right as they cook. So with all of these seasoned up, we're ready to get it out there and get it onto the fire. Now in this instance, I'm putting into place what they call the vortex. That's that little, stainless steel upside down looking bowl there. And you basically light everything up and it just focuses the air and the heat into that one zone, right? And so it gets really, really hot. And in this instance, went ahead and had my cherry wood on there just to show you how hot it is, because that stuff will, start smoldering right away. And in fact, went ahead and left it in there smoldering so that I could do a little bit of a smoke and sear, which is what I really like off the dual fire. That's my favorite by far. I smoke it on the indirect and then I finish it off on the direct side with a sear, and that smoke flavor is just fantastic. So with the temperature probe going in place, I'm just waiting to get this up to about 100, 110, and then I'm there. And then I'm moving into sear mode at this point. And so, again, this is, playing with live fire. So, I'm making sure that I'm not going to have, too much of a flare up on this. And I'm just trying to move them in and out of there so that I don't overly, end up with crustification or black crispification, if I can use that term. So getting there, give those a gentle flip. And, these were coming together fairly well. It was 80-20 burger, so that's why I was kind of mindful of, the flare-ups. But I didn't, sense that I was, overdoing it, too much. I mean, I think it came out actually, just right to my liking. Now, that being said, once, I got all this kind of where I wanted it, I went ahead and then moved, a few of them back to the, their respective corners again. And yes, it's time to go on with a little bit of cheese. Okay, the cheese of choice obviously is the American cheese. And don't tell anybody, but yeah, I kind of doubled down on mine. Um, I just felt in the need, I mean, there's some weeks where you just need that extra piece of cheese, and this was one of those weeks for me. So getting those a little bit closer to the fire so things melt up on me pretty good, and before too long, yeah, I mean, these were pretty much done. And I did have one young lady that didn't want a burger, she wanted a hot dog. So okay, onto the Vortex with one of those big plump hot dogs. Now normally, yeah, those were looking good. Normally those big dogs, I tend to reserve those for Scooby-Doo. He loves them. But in this case, that one went to the girl. And yeah, when done right, I really genuinely enjoy a charcoal burger. And it's just different than when I get off the dual fire, but this was good. Okay, it had been a while, and spring break was coming up. And, for the 15-year-old, he loves jerky. And I said, you know what we're going to do? I'll make up some jerky for you. So I got a brisket that was on discount over at Randall's, and had the a couple of flats on there and the point. And I thought, you know what, let's just see what we can do with this. I mean, I think you can make jerky out of this pretty well. So I cut this up and trimmed it up just a little bit, got the meat slicer out, and set it up at roughly about 1/8 of an inch, just to get this, kind of thin, for us. And, it worked out pretty well. So it was just a matter of, spending a little bit of time slicing everything. And before you know it, I mean, we had a lot of nice slices in place, and we were ready to basically weigh this out. So in weighing it out, each of the spice packs and everything that come in that Lucky kit, they're good for 5 pounds. Now in this instance, I had 8 pounds, and so that's a 4-pound pile in each. So I went a little bit easy, on the nitrate, so I didn't, go over. But I went ahead and put the whole sauce packet in, or the seasoning packet in, because, hey, why not? And I didn't tell him this, but I went ahead and threw a little bit more red pepper flake in there, because I know he actually likes that. So there you go. And then once that was in place, went ahead and mixed this around inside of a Ziploc bag, and basically mashed that into place. And we're going to let this roll for 24 to 36 hours in the refrigerator. And what I did was I, tossed it a couple of times. And yeah, the dog finally got his dog. He knows every day at 4:30 when it's hot dog time, and he comes and finds me. All right, so the next day, yep, we're ready to make some jerky. Now in this case, I put a snake together with some cherry wood on top, and this was just, a row of 2. So it's 2 by, 1, basically. And I got that going, and we had some seriously good smoke going in place. I was a little concerned that this rack system was going to be a little bit tall, but, that's the 26. It's bigger, and it's supposed to fit, so there you go. It fit, made it just right. And, after 3 hours, and this thing held temperature really good, by the way, with using the Brizo. And after 3 hours, we were done, guys. I mean, this actually worked out very, very well. And I did do another batch on his pellet grill, a Z grill. And I have to say, I think the Weber came out a little bit better in terms of flavor. That was my personal preference. But yeah, all bagged up. I mean, this is going to do him for the next, 2 weeks, I'm sure, because he just plows through it. And burned pretty much all the charcoal. Okay, it's Zen time. All right, it's that time of the year again. When you start seeing the grills come out at the grocery store, it's like, wow, is it spring already? I guess so. It must be spring. It's grill season. And sure enough, down at the Walmart, they started whipping everything out. All their new lines and old lines and such. And sure enough, at the Ace Hardware, they got all theirs out. And yeah, down at the Home Depot. So it's time. Happy grilling season, everybody. Hey, everybody, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I really enjoy it when you do that. And a like doesn't hurt either. But most of all, give me some comments.